Ukrainian forces repel about 70 enemy attacks in 5 directions. In the past 24 hours, Ukrainian defenders have repelled about 70 attacks by Russian invaders in Kupiansk, Lyman, and Shakhtarsk directions. The relevant statement was made by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Russian troops launched 27 airstrikes and opened fire with multiple launch rocket systems, or MLRS, 75 times. Peaceful settlements and civilians again were affected. The threat of Russian missile and airstrikes is persisting all over Ukraine. In Volyn and Slobozhiansky directions, the situation remained rather unchanged. Russian troops continue maintaining their presence near Ukraine's state border, training their reserve units, but no enemy offensive groups were detected. Russian troops were attempting to improve their tactical position near Masutivka and drive Ukrainian forces out of the Serebiansk forestry. Over the past day, Ukraine's defense forces have destroyed Russia's Mi-24 attack helicopter and 4 enemy unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, namely 1 Orlan-10, 1 Zala, and 2 Lancet-3 loitering munitions. The Air Force of the United Forces of Ukraine launched 20 strikes on enemy personnel and military equipment clusters and 2 strikes on Russian air defense missile system positions. The Ukrainian missile and artillery units hit 1 Russian command post, 2 enemy personnel clusters, and 3 ammunition depots. Russian forces have stepped up attacks along the eastern front line of the war in Ukraine as Kiev prepares to mark the somber first anniversary of the invasion, amid fears that the Russian President Vladimir Putin intends to mark the anniversary with fresh attacks on key cities. Ukraine's General Staff said it had repelled 90 assaults in the east and northeast in the past 24 hours. The increase in the Russian offensives in the east, along the 600-mile front line that runs from Kharkiv region down through the Donbass to the Russian-occupied south, comes amid Ukrainian fears that at the very least, Moscow will mark the first year of the war. Ukrainian officials have pointed to what they believe are recent efforts by Russian aerial reconnaissance vehicles, continuing on Thursday to identify the location of Ukraine's air defenses. They believe those efforts may be the prelude to another mass rocket attack. Such attacks have been happening since the early autumn, although with diminishing effect. For weeks, Russia has been intensifying its push to capture all of Ukraine's eastern industrial heartland of Luhansk and Donetsk provinces, collectively known as the Donbass. Kiev and its Western allies say Moscow could try to launch a wider, more ambitious attack. Recent Russian efforts have, however, been marked by large losses on the Russian side, as troops and vehicles are thrown at the Ukrainian defenses in an apparent attempt to overwhelm by sheer weight of numbers, irrespective of casualties. According to the data from the General Staff, within the temporarily occupied territory of the Kherson region, Russian invaders are searching houses and seizing boats and other watercraft. Previously, such actions were taken before leaving the right bank part of the Kherson region and in order to carry out sabotage actions. Having destroyed over 80% of the housing stock in the Donetsk region's Mariupol, Russian occupiers offer the victims of its attacks to get housing in the newly built houses on the outskirts of the destroyed city. However, realizing that the documents confirming the ownership right were destroyed along with the housing, Russian invaders cynically put forward their presence as a mandatory requirement for obtaining a new housing.